G'day everybody, how you going today? It is so good to see you. I do hope that you are super well. Today is an absolutely massive, epic day in Nikon's history from my perspective. Over the last week, Nikon has been rolling out the very first of something new to users around the world. If you're in Europe, you've probably seen it already. And if you're in Australia or North America, today is your big day. And what am I talking about? Well, we have a bit of a theme here, don't we? We have yellow glasses, a yellow coffee cup. It's yellow. That's Nikon, isn't it? But today, we've got something joining that yellow. And that's it right there, the red. Today I am so excited to unbox my copy of the Nikon ZR, the Nikon Red collaboration, which to me is an absolute turning point in what the company of Nikon as an imaging company can bring us over the years. Now these are reading glasses. I'm going to take them off because I can see better without them. And there it is, the most important thing out of all of this moving forwards is this word right here, Nikon Z Cinema. And in this box is the Nikon ZR, a Nikon Red collaboration. And this is the first of many to come. We know this for a fact, let alone that we've been teased the fact that there are 4 Z Cinema lenses coming. Well, coming soon. Will they drop at the same time? I have a feeling they might. As a set, who knows? 3 months away, 6 months away? Well, I think the most we could possibly expect to wait is 6 months. I think that is about as long as they would tease, and it could be as soon as, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. We just never know. It might be a great holiday season gift to us all. Today is about the Nikon ZR. Let's get this out of the box. I have not opened it. I don't know what's in the box. And the first thing, of course, is a USB-C to USB-C cable. That's expected. Warranty cards. And there we have it. As I thought, a battery, the ENEL15C. A strap, which will probably never get used, and the main event. And this is what we've all been waiting for. I was fortunate enough to work with this device, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago now, something like that, way before I went overseas. And of course, I got to spend some time with Rishi's version of it. But here is a full retail firmware version 1.00 here today. This is a beautifully designed cup, by the way. It's a dual layered with a gap in between, so the exterior is not hot. The tea is steaming. So how did we get to the ZR? Well, for those that don't know, Nikon announced the purchase of Red for 85 million USD in March of last year. That deal was closed just a few weeks, perhaps a month later. And very, very quickly, we've had various things come with the Nikon Red or the Z Cinema name on them. First, it was LUTs, then it was Z mount Red cameras, and now, just a month or so ago, it was the Raptor XE, which is a half-price version of their 8K global 17 plus stops of dynamic range camera, along with the Nikon ZR, dropping on the same day, just hours apart. That's the acquisition side of things, but what have Nikon been doing for the last 5 years? And first of all, they gave us obviously the Z9, an absolute powerhouse, class-leading device when it came onto the market. The XP7 straight away felt like a very, very powerful processor. This is still, besides the A9 III, the only sensor on the market that doesn't need a mechanical shutter. There is simply not one in this camera at all, along with the Z8. The A9 III is a global shutter. It does not need a mechanical shutter, but of course, it's not 45.7 megapixels, it's 24, and it does not have the same high ISO or noise performance. This sensor's base ISO is 64. The A9 III is 250. That is 2 whole stops above that 64 ISO. How do we get there? Well, we go from 64, we double that to around 120, and then 120 to 250. Very, very different sensors, both of them very fast. The Z9, it started it all. Then we got the ZF, which said to us that Nikon is able to lean into their heritage, bringing us the beautiful ZF, which I have here in sunset orange, along with that XP7 processor giving us fantastic everything, including AF, for those that are wondering. After that, we got the Z8, which was a baby Z9 in almost every way, but not quite. And then the Z6 III, which was a hybrid of all sorts of different things. It had the XP7 processor in it. It had a new semi-stacked or partially stacked sensor, which is very fast, fast enough to be used without a mechanical shutter most of the time, and obviously very, very good for video. And from the Z6 III, which is now just over a year old, here we have the ZR, which is a lot of Z6 III. From what I've been led to believe, the ZR and the Z6 III have a very similar sensor, but they're not identical. But there's more to it. I believe the sensors, the algorithms, and how things come out of these two different sensors in the Z6 III, which is what we're shooting on right now, and the ZR, they are slightly tweaked. And why not? They've had a year to tweak it. So the ZR, what does it mean? What does it mean to the world? Well, people have discussed a lot of things. It's been huge for the last month since it was launched. Is it an FX3 killer, an FX2 killer, an FX30 killer, a C50 killer? From my perspective, it absolutely sits in all of those categories. I don't call anything a killer, but it certainly rubs shoulders with those cameras, and in many ways it's actually better. For example, none of those 3 Sony cameras mentioned are capable of shooting RAW internally. None of those cameras have 32-bit float. None of those cameras have this tremendously large screen. So Nikon have done a lot to bring this camera not only to market, but to make it a very, very compelling package. And Nikon has just been on a massive roll, and I've got these lenses here, along with this great flask, which I've just, now that we're talking about Z Cinema. The reason I've got the Tamron and the Laowa here is these are both native Z-mount lenses that can be mounted here on the ZR. Some people would like to tell you that there isn't really a lot of third-party choices. It's simply not true. We now have 9 native Z-mount lenses from Tamron. We have Sigma, we have Laowa, Viltrox, TT Artisan, 7 Artisan, Voigtlander, and on the list goes. I would suspect there is in excess of 100 third-party lenses now available for the Z-mount, let alone the basically 50 or 49, wherever we're up to, native Z-mount lenses from Nikon. There's pretty much everything you could possibly need. Beyond that, Nikon is making best-in-class lenses, which includes glass like I have here, the 135 Plena, the 85-1.2, 50-1.2, 35-1.2, and the astonishing telephoto lenses, the 400-2.8 with the TC 600 and so on. You've got the best of the best, and then you've got an extraordinary array of Z-mount choices. And then when we talk about adaptability, 300 to 400 f-mount lenses, and so much more. The ZR, it can mount all of it. Beyond that, of course, the Nikon is able to mount so many different lens types, and that includes Sony E-mount lenses with the E to Z adapter. That means that Sony users can take advantage of what the ZR delivers. And as we've heard online and as we know, if you shoot in RAW, you can basically make your file look the same as another brand of camera if you know what you're doing when it comes to color correction. And thus, we are already getting some Sony users quite interested in getting a ZR. This is what this massive moment is all about. Gaining market share. But more importantly, from my perspective, and this is a term that I will coin here today in regards to this subject, of course it's not a new term. But for Nikon, more important than market share is mind share. It needs to be in the conversation. It needs to be exciting. It needs to be something that people are interested in and something that they want to experiment with. And that is what the ZR has brought us. So many unique aspects of this camera simply cannot be found anywhere else. And the ultimate killer aspect of this camera is its price. $3,500 Australian dollars, 2,199 US dollars. In both cases, these prices will come down as the camera enters the market and has been here for a little while. In the US, it will be sub $2,000, and in Australia, I do believe you'll be able to get it for sub $3,000 by the time we get to 2026. And thus, this camera packs so much punch for what it is. Now, of course, some of you are saying, well, where is D-Squeeze? Where is SSD recording? Where is Open Gate? Well, there are two answers to that. One, this is such an entry-level camera that Nikon is saying, you know what, we're giving you so much, this is all we're going to give you. Or two, this camera has come out so quickly, we've only owned this company, Red, for 18 months, and we are working on all that stuff because we've never done any of those things before. So just give us a sec and we'll get it out to you with a firmware update. We know Nikon love doing their firmware updates. We know we've just had so many for all of the different cameras. For example, you would have thought that the Z8 coming 18 months after the Z9 didn't need that many firmware updates. Surely it was perfect as it arrived, but lo and behold, we've still had firmware 2.00, a massive update, and 3.00, another massive update. It is clear that firmware is an ongoing part of Nikon's strategy to continue to bring value to its customers. So, if Nikon are going to bring more to the ZR, well, there are plenty of requests on the table. And I would put absolute even money that we will see some of these things because Nikon want to be taken seriously as a cinema company. They've created a camera that will be a line called Z Cinema. They need to get more of the cinema stuff in there. And, I pretty much think it will happen at some point in time. So there it is. This is a massive, massive moment, a game-changing moment for Nikon. A possibility to open up huge new markets and rub shoulders with some of their best friends in Sony and Canon. This is an exciting camera, and I really look forward to answering all of your questions and putting it through its paces with this production model, with the final firmware out there in the real world. I've had requests, is this a good stills camera? And that is the first thing I'm going to be letting you know. And I really look forward to showing you, well, what it's capable of. This is such an exciting time, along with the fact that this camera has the electronic hot shoe, which from my perspective means we could have a never-ending array of third-party and first-party accessories that come for that hot shoe. I think watch this space. Things are just going to keep happening. It's so exciting. Here we are, day one of Nikon Red, the ZR. This is just the beginning, and well, I'm just so excited to see what's next. I'd love to know in the comments, what else would you like to see the ZR do? What don't you like about the ZR? What do you like about the ZR? Are you interested in getting one? Are you getting one? Or have you already got one? Please do let me know in the comments below. It's been so good to see you, and if this is your first time here, I would love to see you again. So please do subscribe, please share, and please like. All right, bye for now.